Welcome back to Exposed. So for the past few months, the Turtle Island Theatre Company has been in the news. Their current building, the Cattery Hall, is owned by the Catholic Church. And with Cattery de Gacuita being sainted in the fall, they might lose that building.
So many people didn't know what was going on, and Jessica went to the bottom of it and tried to figure out what was going on, and she asked Kevin John Saylor some questions.
I'm at the Cattery Hall with Kevin John Saylor, and we're here to discuss the Turtle Island Theatre Company. So on May 22nd it was that you had a meeting here, I guess with the entire people who participate in the Turtle Island Theatre Company. So, and then last week you attended the MCK community meeting. How, I guess, were those two meetings, and where is the theater at right now?
Well, the first meeting we had, we were fortunate to have many of the members of Turtle Island, many of the performers, the volunteers, the backstage workers, and that meeting was just to put our minds together and come up with a plan and to inform everyone what was happening. Not everyone was fully informed of that we had maybe a year or two to vacate the premises and find a new home. So we got here and sat down together and came up with some ideas, and one of the preliminary ideas was to get the council to, I guess, morally support us in a way, but also see how they could help us to find the funds to build a theater building. So we decided we'd go to the town meeting, and we went there. That was a week ago today, and we went to ask for the council's support, not only moral but also financially, just to see where they were at, if they had funds available, or if they knew how to go about getting funds.
I think it was a success. We wanted to keep it short and sweet, and which was a good idea, considering we were sort of last on the agenda and it was so late. Short, sweet, concise, to the point. I think that we had a package prepared for every council member, and the fact that we were here, there were 10 of us here by the time we addressed the council. I think we made an impact, because I think it seemed like a lot of people here, not that they maybe weren't aware of our situation, but I guess they didn't realize that we really need the support, So it was really nice to hear from people who I've never seen come to a show or anything, hear them say, we support you. There was a moment I almost felt like crying, because, it sounds a little melodramatic, but I've been doing this for, more than half my life, being part of the Turtle Island Theatre. So to hear people say that they really do back us and believe in us, people who I never thought even knew we existed, it was really kind of heartwarming to hear that we have the community's support.
So where's the theater at right now? Like, what's this whole situation?
Well, because of those two meetings that happened, we have a couple of official meetings set up. The first is with the lands unit, the MCK lands unit, and that's coming up this week to kind of narrow down where the possible choices would be for a theater, what is property that's available, and because that's really the first step when we're asking for estimates from construction firms, etc. They want to know where the building would be, and that they have to take that into consideration for design and all that. So that's the first step, and we also have a meeting set up again with the council. There's another project going on where they're looking into building or participating in the building of a new radio station and language center, and there's a big possibility we can be part of that if they make it sort of a center with 3 different businesses or organizations within. So that's another nice possibility.
Okay, so I guess with all this uncertainty of the future of this building, has the Catholic Church said anything to the theater?
No, we have no official word from the church at this point, other than in our past contracts, there was always a clause saying that if Cattery were to be made a saint, we would be given 2 years' notice to move out. But that was when we had a 5-year contract with them. Right now we're on a year-to-year contract, so they can I suppose pull the lease at any year, and usually the deadline for them to let us know would be this month, June. We haven't heard anything from the church, so we're assuming we're here for at least one more year. Our lease, that would make our lease expire at the end of September 2013. So we're hoping by then that we have a firm idea of a place where we can go.
So what is, I guess, the best case scenario of like finding another building or like having to build another building?
The best case scenario is that I think just personally, the best case scenario is up near the sports complex. There's some common land available up there, and we're hoping that can really be a place where we can call home as well, just because the infrastructure is in place, as well as the visibility to both the community and the outside, just right off of the highway. We would really be able to expand our audience, and an expanded audience is really what is necessary so that the theater can carry on, the theater can pay its bills, and it's to form a nice relationship with our neighboring communities, be a great visibility.
So I'm always like skeptical of like people. They don't really know what it takes. I mean, I don't even know what it takes to run a theater. Like how much does it actually cost to put on one show? Like this week, the musical entertainer show was opening. Like how much does that cost to put on a whole production like that?
Well, every show is a little different. Depends on if you're doing a kind of a traditional Broadway musical, there's royalty fees to pay. If you're doing a play with no music, there's also royalty fees, unless it's an older piece. Anything over, I think it's 100 years old, there's no royalty fees to pay. But something like we're doing this week, the musical entertainer show, it's a musical review. So the cost is minimal, which is why we always choose this show to be our fundraiser. The only costs we have is kind of the printing of music and a few costumes we need to purchase, but in general it's not an expensive show to produce. Of course, our performers are volunteers, our musicians are volunteers, so there's no fee there, and they all know it's a fundraiser. But there have been other shows, like when we produced Grease 2 years ago, it cost about $10,000 to produce, and there's no way the box office made $10,000. The box office may have made $4,000 or $5,000. So we're not really a business making a profit. It's very much a nonprofit organization. The audience purchasing tickets helps, but it really doesn't pay for the cost of the program.
So you depend a lot on volunteers.
Yes, we depend on volunteers. We depend on, we sometimes are able to get some grants from our local organizations, such as the Case Populaire. The Mohawk Council's also given us grants at different times. Daewoo Zakta also coordinates summer students for us, so we depend on that very, very much. And for the running of the building, we really depend on volunteers. Right now there's just myself who works here, so everybody else that is ushering or helping backstage or keeping the building in shape and clean, it's very much volunteers.
Okay. And something that I heard a lot, especially when the building closed down because of the fire inspection, is they can just pack them up and put them perform them on the Knights of Columbus stage or any old stage. And what do you say to stuff like that?
Well, we've been in this building since 2000, but before that, we've existed since 1993, and over the years we've accumulated quite a large amount of equipment and costumes, props, and we do need a large storage facility as well. Some people have suggested, well, they can rent a storage unit while they find a home. We'd have to rent the whole storage company, basically. to house what we have. We have furniture, props, costumes, shoes, office equipment, desks, chairs, computers, so many things that in many cases have been donated to us. Even, the curtains, the lights, all of that equipment is valuable equipment, and it needs to have a place to go. To put it in storage is really saying, it's almost impossible to imagine that it could be put into storage unless it was a warehouse, really, that would store it.
So we decided to sort of throw together a last-minute petition before our last show, which was Some Like It Hot. It was kind of a petition we threw together the day before. We were all just kind of talking and brainstorming and thought, we have all these people coming to our show. We should really put something together, because now I guess the reality of possibly losing the theater sooner rather than later was kind of sinking in. So the petition really is just to get support from the community. That's one of the biggest things, I think, in getting an actual building built, is to have the support of our community, of our chief and council behind us. So we thought, even though we're not asking for donations through the petition, we're just asking for their support. And I think that's going to be a really important aspect behind this whole initiative.
So do you have any, final words?
Well, just that, we're very happy that both the council and KSCS is very supportive of what we're doing, and very, excited for the future to see where this goes, because there have been other times in the past, there's been, talk of a theater being built, and it's just never happened. Partly because, we've always had a place to fall back on, but in this case we don't. So if we don't have a building within a year and a half, that would pretty much be the end of the drama in Kahnawake.
And we really don't want that to happen. So, thanks for letting me interview you.
Well, thank you for listening, and we just hope we can spread the word to our community that we need your help, we need your support, but also to thank the community for their overwhelming support at this point, and with newspaper articles and different things that have come up, we thank them very much for their support.
Well, I really hope everything works out for the theater and to their advantage. The theater is something that I think is very valuable in the community, yet so underappreciated.
Yeah, I've been involved with the theater since 2007, and it's pretty much made me the person I am today, so...
High five to that.
Yeah! So anyways, we have to get back to another commercial break, so we'll be back after these messages.